Welcome into the Arkansas Sports Network's Hometown Sports Football Preview, proudly presented by Arkansas Tech University, D3 Auto Sales, and Metcalf Trucking and Trailer Repair. Today we sit down with Conway Wampus Cat head coach Buck James. This Pigskin Preview is sponsored by First Community Bank.
Well, I'm here with Coach Buck James of Conway, and it's first off, it's an honor to be here with you. I appreciate you joining me. One of the most successful high school coaches in the state of Arkansas ever. Coach, you've been at several spots. You've been successful at several spots. What is it that you attribute those successes to?
Well, first of all, I've always had good players. I don't think any coach does the job that they want to do unless they have good players, and have always had good assistant coaches, and had parents who allowed us to coach their kids. I think that's probably as important as them being good players, because really to be a good coach, you got to be able to make your players comfortable being uncomfortable and give them an opportunity to understand what success is and where failure draws the line at. And I think I've been blessed in that area with having kids who can play well and coaches who can coach well and parents who allowed us to coach them.
What is it about what you do that allows that to happen? Because we know that in this time that we're in, that not always do parents allow their kids to be coached. What is it about you that sets that expectation?
Well, I try to let them know what's going on, and I try to show them and tell them our plan, in advance. And it's not easy. It's not easy being a championship mentality. It's not easy to go out there and get kids to do things that they don't normally want to do. So you have to get them to have a buy-in to what you're trying to do. And the kids have got to want to be a part of it, and they've got to want to play for it, and they've got to want to be able to go through the things that make them uncomfortable, and then understand that enough to where they're comfortable being uncomfortable. And I don't think every day's a bed of roses by any means, but I do believe that most kids want to be the best version of themselves they can. Their parents want to get in the bleachers and cheer and yell and support their kids, and they want them to be successful. So I think you just take coaching for what it is. Coaching is doing what somebody normally would do on their own, and allow our kids to go out there and achieve the things that they need to be able to do to be successful.
It's a pretty good way to sum it up there. You've been successful in a lot of places, Camden Fairview, Star City before that. We're at Bryant here. What are you doing here at Conway now? You've been here, this is year 2 here at Conway. What is it that you are doing now to implement that type of atmosphere here at Conway?
Well, we're trying to structure the program 7 through 12 and, have the same kind of football program in junior high that we have in high school, and trying to get kids to develop at a younger age and, teach them the basic motor skills it takes to be an athlete, and then develop strength in that. And if we can do those type of things, then I think we have a chance to be really successful here. And it's program, it's culture. There's a lot of things that go into having a winning program. And I think you've got to teach the kids when they're young and what it takes to win. And then hopefully those kids will develop and they will mature into guys who take a lot of pride and will, have some tradition in what they're trying to do, and then be able to execute the plan.
Tell us a little bit about your previous stops. Of course, what everybody knows about Bryant. Let's talk about Camden Fairview. What was it like to be down there and bring that kind of winning culture there?
Well, I always thought Camden Fairview had a good football program. You always just wondered what happened to them when they got in the playoffs. And they were always traditionally 1 and done or 2 and done in the playoffs. And, I think it was just longevity. It was just go in there and get kids to understand that it's, football's a 14-week season, and be able to stay in the fight long enough and be able to adjust to what other people can do. And, when you get in the playoffs, you don't see the same things you see in your conference or your non-conference schedule. You start seeing things that people have already been successful. They've already found ways. They watch film, they study the game, and they find things that you can do. And, I call it bending the light, but you've got to be able to bend the light. It's no different than Coach Hutchcraft or whatever she does, if she sees zone all year long, she's still got to work on man because when she gets in the playoffs, she's going to see a different version of what she's been seeing, and people are going to study what they do. And it's the same way in baseball. It's the same way in any sport that kids are coached and they're trained and they have models to be able to teach their kids. You have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to overcome different situations. And I think that's really what we were able to do at Camden, was to do something that when somebody stopped the run, we could throw the football. When somebody stopped the pass, we could run the football, and vice versa on defense.
And then you went on to Bryant. Bryant had some successes before you got there, but you took it to another level that really hasn't been seen maybe outside of the Pine Bluff dynasty back, in the early or late 80s, early 90s. What was it that you were able to do to get that program from there to where they were?
I think it's strength and conditioning. I think, what you do in all season matters. Usually the bigger, stronger guy wins. I mean, you can look at any sport. You look at LeBron in basketball. You look at Serena Williams in tennis. You look at Tiger Woods in golf. The bigger, stronger guy wins. And we hang our hat on the weight room. I mean, we're going to be in the weight room as much as we can possibly be. And, we're going to try to teach our kids how to eat and discipline themselves to become the strongest version of themselves and then learn their craft. And then once they do that, they have a chance to be successful.
Well, I think all of those are good answers here. Conway hasn't had one since 1993. What do you think it would mean to the city of Conway and to this program to be able to bring one home here?
I think it'd be great. It's a great, I watched it from afar, and I took this job because I thought it could be special, and I thought it could be one of the powerhouse programs in the state. And, we're good, and we're good in everything. We're not the best in everything. And, I was telling somebody today, I want to be somewhere between girls basketball and baseball. And that's the truth of it. And those programs are something to learn from because they know what it's like to take it to the next level. And we've got to learn, champions build championship minds. And there's a reason why some people are successful and there's a reason why other people are not. And it's more mentality, it's more focus, it's more discipline. It has to be a lot of things that go into the pie to make yourself a winner. Than just go out there and work hard and do what you do well.
Right. That's Coach Buck James giving us a recipe for how he makes programs successful. A lot of good stuff in there. Coming off a good season last year, Coach. A season that was good. I assume a building season for what you want to do in the future.
No doubt. To win 10 games, and new coaching staff, and got here really in July was a big hurdle, and a testament to our seniors. They bought in. They tried to do what we asked them to do, and they worked hard every day. And we were able to win some ball games. We're still a little bit short in where our goals are. But I'm really proud of the way these guys competed. I'm proud of the way they came out and worked every day and tried to do the best that we could to win as many ball games as we could. And just a great group of young men to accept the change that they had to go through. And that's tough to do sometimes when you're young.
3-point loss to the eventual state champions, Fayetteville. Fayetteville, Drake Lindsay, fantastic quarterback there at Fayetteville, was able to lift them to a state championship. The West hasn't won one in a long time up until Fayetteville won one, but you guys were right there with them.
Yeah, we were a play away. We had a touchdown call back. We missed a free kick. They had a ricochet off of a D-back, and the ball lands in the receiver's hand, and they catch it on 3rd and long. And, they had some breaks, but that's what good teams do. Good teams create their breaks. Good teams make their situation happen for them. And, we got to learn how to win in tough and big ball games. And, my hat's off to those guys. I mean, they competed. They didn't get their heads down. Our guys fought hard, to be at their place and lose eventually by 3 points. If you believe in moral victories, I mean, there's one there, but it shows that we got some work to do. And I think that's what we've got to start doing is going to work and for those moments, have a chance to win those ball games.
A lot of times people don't talk about your assistants. You've got obviously a big group here at Conway of assistants. Tell us a little bit about your assistants and shine a light on what they do.
Well, they're good men. I think that's the first thing. They're really good men. They're hard workers. They're very unselfish. I have a few ex-head coaches on my staff, and I've got some young guys who hadn't been coaching very long, and it's a good mixture of guys. And they're extremely hard workers. They're very selfless in everything they do, and they care about the kids. And really, that's what makes it fun. I mean, they come to work every day. They want to get better. They want their kids to get better. They have great relationships with the kids, and they built the culture that we're trying to establish here. And I'm really proud of, most of all, what kind of men they are.
You want to throw out any names of those guys?
You put me on the light, I'll forget.
I was about to say, there'll always be one you'll forget, right? Talk about the strengths of your Conway team that's returning.
Well, we lose 10 we lose 9 on offense, and that's going to be a big hurdle to overcome. And we lost our quarterback and Donovan Amalo, and he's a special guy. I mean, I've been coaching for 37 years. And I don't know if I've been around, a much better person. And, he's that on the field and he was that off the field. He was a winner in every regard of the way. And, he's going to be hard to replace. And then like every senior we had on our football team, because those guys were special. To go through the change they went through and the difference in what we were trying to do versus what they were doing. Not that it was right or wrong, it was just different. And to be able to accept that and buy into it was really amazing, because generally, when I could take over a program, most of them would meet me on the way out when I walk in, and these guys went in there and went to battle, and they went to work every day, and they did a tremendous job. And defensively, we've got about 7 starters back on defense, so we should be pretty good on the defense side of the ball. We just got to get where we get off the field faster. Don't have the lulls in the games that we suffered the losses in, where we're in a game, we got a chance to win the game, and where the defense comes in and just shuts down and stymies our opponent. I think that comes with maturity, and I think those are the guys that are going to carry it. Defense wins championships, and we've got to be able to do some things over there, and with experienced secondary back, and we have some experienced linebackers back, and we have a lot of defensive linemen who played a lot last year. And our defense should be our strong point. And, if I could have it any way, I'd like to have it that way. But we have some young guys who got to step up and play hard. I think we'll be able to run a little bit on defense. And I think we'll be pretty physical. I think we'll be much more physical than what we've been in the past. And that's something that could really carry us a little bit.
So you talk about your weakness is that you return only 2 starters on the offensive side of the ball. Talk about what you got coming back at quarterback.
Well, we have a young man, Wesley Tapp, and he took most of the reps in JV in the backup role. And, it's his job to lose. He's got great arm talent. He's a big, tall kid. He's 6'5", and, he can throw the ball. The thing I want him to be able to do is be able to extend plays and make the pocket, his pocket awareness, his pocket presence, a factor in what his decision making. Not to be a guy that just throws the football away, but a guy that can stand there and take the hit, the guy can get in there, extend the play, and make the throw, and keep our offense moving. And I think we'll have a big, strong offensive line in front of him. I think those guys got a chance to be a little bit bigger and stronger than what we were last year. And if we get some receivers that can get under the football and catch the football, then we can go and just sort of reload instead of rebuild. And it all starts with the quarterback. He gets the most attention, but we've got a lot of guys in those roles that got to help him be better than what he even thinks he can be.
Well, let's talk about your offensive line, because somebody's got to block for that quarterback, whoever it might be. What do you like about the returning offensive line that you have?
Well, they're strong and they're big. I mean, they're long. Probably one of the taller offensive lines that I've had in my coaching career. The tackles are 300-pound guys. They're about 6'4", 6'5". Our guards are the tall as well. We have the ones who are not very tall. They're really strong and they're levers. And I think we've got a good mixture of guys that can play both center and guard, or guard and tackle, or our guard to tackle, or tight end. And so I think we got some things where we can play a lot of kids. And really sort of match up ourselves with the type of defenses that we'll see throughout the year.
Returning all-conference, all-state players, who do you have returning that would be fit that mold?
We don't have any return all-state players. We have Jacoby Wade, a safety, who was an all-conference player for us last year. And, he was a great player. He was a great punt returner, great kick returner. We're going to look at him on the offensive side of the football. We have Trez Hammonds, who is the fastest kid in the state of Arkansas at 7A level. He ran a 10,500 meters. Tice Carr is the other corner that's returning that really is a good football player. We have John Paul Saxton, who is a linebacker who's coming back that played a lot of minutes for us. And, we've got some guys that were in the mix last year that played some important minutes for us that are coming back on the defensive side of the football, which makes me to believe that we have a chance to be pretty good defensively.
Anybody that might surprise, anybody that might come out of nowhere to surprise people around the state?
As far as our team?
Yeah.
I think we could be, talking about one of our players.
Yes, yeah, one of your players.
I look for our running backs to have, and I can't sit here and tell you which running back it's going to be because we have 3 or 4 guys that are going to be there. And, most of them carried the football last year. But I look for one of those guys with the type of offensive line we have and the ability to be able to stretch the field. I see for one of those guys really taking off and having a good year. We have slashers. We have guys who wiggle in the hole well. We have some guys who can blow the hole up. So we have about 3 or 4 different kind of guys back here. And, I think it could be a different guy every Friday night just on what the defense gives us. But I think we have a good enough combination there that we might run the football a lot better than what people think. And I think that was sort of our Achilles heel last year is that we could run the football. We just couldn't run the football when we had to, and I think that's the difference. I think, it's no different than anything else. I mean, if you don't put 20-foot putts, you don't have to make them. Yeah. And it's the same thing with running back. We don't have to have a yard, and we don't have to go for a yard all the time. And so it's got to be a situation where our kids, stay on the offensive side of the ball. We dictate to the momentum, and I think that's what we've been able to do here at Conway is be able to move the ball, score points, and be dangerous all over the field. And hopefully we can continue that.
Well, talk about your schedule real quick. Who do you got non-conference?
Well, non-conference, we have Bentonville, Jonesboro, and Marion. And, we go to Jonesboro and have Marion and Bentonville here. And then our conference, traditionally probably one of the toughest conferences in the state. And then we add Pulaski Academy and Little Rock Christian in that fold. And it's going to be a tough league. You're going to have a good football team to finish in the top 6, I believe. And to be in the top 4, you have to have a really good football team. But we're all still chasing Bryant. Bryant's still the king of the room, and we've got to get our programs to where they are. And they have depth, they have speed, they have strength, and they're very well coached. And so that's the real monster in the room. And we've got to be able to get where we can compete against those guys, where we're not scared to compete against them, that we want to compete against them. We want to be competitive, and we want to go take that challenge on every Friday we get a chance to play them. And that's sort of the mindset that we've got to have in this entire conference this year, especially with the new additions to the league.
So the last question I'll throw at you here: it will be a successful season at Conway if
we can play defense. If we can play defense, we'll have a good football team. We're going to have to score points, but I think in this league, if you can hold people down, you got a chance to be successful.
Coach Buck James here on the Hometown Sports Arkansas Football Preview, presented by the Arkansas Sports Network. We want you to stay tuned with us. We've got videos from all over the state, coaches talking to us all over the state of Arkansas. You can catch it on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again for joining us on the Arkansas Sports Network's Hometown Sports Football Preview. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Arkansas Sports Network on YouTube to catch more previews and all the latest updates on your favorite teams.